you're listening to the Mackay T Show podcast. Here are your hosts, Ryan Mackay and T Davis.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.
Welcome back to the Mackay T Show podcast, or episode 2 of season 10. We've been doing this for 10 seasons, Lord.
Watch out,
I know this is kind of timely at this point, but I just wanted to say congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks on winning the NBA championship, 2021 NBA championship. I like the fact that they're kind of hammering home the fact that Giannis did this without, because the last couple of years now they've been saying, does Giannis need to get traded? Does he need to, demand a trade? Does he need to go and build a super team somewhere? And he wound up winning a championship without doing all that.
Okay, now I'm glad you said that, because let's be clear. Let's be very clear. And a lot of things just have to happen sometimes for you to win. You might have to hit a game-winning lucky shot, where your heels are the only, you were on your toes and your heels were the only reason that you weren't out of bounds.
Right.
San Antonio. I can't even think of that three-point shooter's name. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes, it might be Jesus Shuttlesworth hitting a jumper, to help you, sometimes.
Yes.
And sometimes the season might just be short because it was a lockout, sometimes. And sometimes everybody might get hurt and you just have an easy road to the, and I won't say easy, but your path was a lot easier because Milwaukee, y'all was not beating even just a healthy James Harden and Durant.
Right. And that's going to be just like people are going to hold last year being in the bubble against LeBron and all the people that didn't play. And,
Right.
This, that, and the other. They're going to hold this against Giannis. But
I'm not holding it against him. I just want him not to act like he did some. You didn't beat any of the super teams, quote unquote, that you did it the hard way. No, you didn't. God bless you to everybody that could get hurt. I don't know that y'all would have beat the Clippers, and I definitely didn't want them to win. But if Kawhi don't get hurt, I don't think Phoenix beats them. The Atlanta Hawks was giving them everything they wanted until boy got hurt.
Yes, if Trae Young had not gotten hurt, what a difference that would have been.
Come on, bro. And I know you did your part and you won, but come on. Let's not act like you ain't have a whole bunch of help from the quote unquote basketball gods. Mm-hmm. Or the maybe it started with Space Jam 2 and him the Mojo Steelers was out there, except they was injuring people.
Well, there wasn't no Mojo stealing in Space Jam 2. It was basically just them.
But teams against teams.
Well, it was their
the original
time.
Space Jams, they had that stole everybody Mojo. So come on now, Giannis. I was rooting for you, but don't do that. Look, don't do that.
The man was just excited. I know I was on record last week as saying I wanted to go 7 games, but I'm glad it didn't, because the U.S. men's national team was in dire need of more than I realized.
Well, it didn't help.
It did not.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why it didn't help, because you can't shoot 8 of 32 in the second half and expect to win many games against a decent team. And that's what France was. France is a decent team. They have some decent pieces. They should not have beaten us. But we shot off them.
You can't go on the inside. You got dude down there that play for the Denver Nuggets. No, the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert. Mm-hmm.
He out there looking like he a real post player. Cause y'all have nobody that's his size.
No, and shooting was god awful, especially at the end of the game where we were missing just wide open shots. France was giving us chances to get back in the game when they took the lead.
Should it come down to shooting though? It should be a layup fest.
Right.
What you got to buckle down on defense and make them turn the ball. That's all that should be. It's playing
Which is
hard and
which is
defending.
why that's why these trying to be politically correct. Well, that's why these foreign teams give us so much trouble nowadays because they play that type of basketball where they're cutting, they're hitting the open man, they're shooting layups. Excuse me. At the ready, and we still play the NBA style where it's where the NBA has gone to now with the jacking 3-pointers and you know,
There you go. Shooting a bunch of threes, trying to be Golden State. And again, you can shoot all threes you want if y'all gonna play solid defense. And I ain't gonna say the defense was bad because they only gave up 80 something points. But you should be getting steals and just making life miserable. So it's a layup fest.
right.
Or not layup fest. At least a fast break where you just in transition pretty much most of the game. You're supposed to be the best athletes in the world. Good luck.
Well, you just said that like speaking of Space Jam, you just said that like the best athletes in the world. Remember when they heard it on the TV, and that's what made them little things go and steal all the talent. Anyway, speaking of moving on, uh, another one positive that I've loved so far in the opening weekend of the Olympics is the 3-on-3. I know it's
Let me
been
tell you, I'm
oh, go
sorry, I'm
ahead.
about to cut you off.
No,
I
go
got
ahead.
tired of just watching. I was like, "No,
Oh,
wait a minute. The clock. Hold on, wait.
yes,
You don't clear the ball. Once you get the ball out the net or get the rebound, the clock already flip over. I was fatigued. Go ahead.
yes. 12-second shot clock. I mean, it's just everything about it. Just it makes it exciting as the viewer. You're in it, and it's just going by so fast. Um, and before you know it, that 10 minutes is up, and whatever happens, happens.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
you got to
it's
be in good shape.
yes, because there's only what 4 of them per team,
Yes,
so you get
and
one
you have to
sub.
You got to sub out fast. There ain't no time. I don't know if it was no timeouts, but the little bit that I watched, I was like, "This is this too fast." I mean, I didn't really know what the rules was, but just from watching and understanding basketball, I was like, "Can I at least clear the ball before my 12 seconds start?" No, you get it out the net and start.
Right.
Okay.
Well, right now our women's team is sitting atop the standings. They beat Russia, which was their um, hardest competition up until this morning when I watched them beat Italy. Italy gave them a game, and I think they play somebody else later on this evening or here in a
I
couple
think
hours.
this gonna come down to who in the best shape. Cause
Yeah,
really, but all them girls was out there balling. Young people. I shouldn't call them girls, but it was just like that was moving so fast. Your shot gonna start going. You get tired, and that's what I think is gonna come down to. Whoever in the best shape.
I was concerned when I saw, and this is nothing to do with Stephanie Dolson. I think she's a very good player. I was concerned when I saw she was on the team because I didn't know how she would. I just thought there was somebody else that could have gotten that position. I would be the first to say I was wrong to think that there's no one in the field as I've seen so far that is tall enough to guard her and strong enough to guard
Oh,
her
you
on the
talking
floor.
about the big girl? Cause I was like, I don't know. I didn't know any of them people out there. I was like, where was the tryouts? Who did this? Where I didn't even honestly,
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a 3-on-3 basketball in Olympics. So there you have it.
Well, I knew they had been doing it the last few years on the FIBA circuit, like in the under 19 and all that level, and I knew they were coming to the Olympics this year. I'd read articles about it, but yeah, Stephanie Dolson from Connecticut plays for Chicago Sky now. Kelsey Plum she played at Washington in college. She's on the Las Vegas Aces. She has been lights out. Um, Gray, I think it's Alicia Gray, played at South Carolina. I don't know why my mind
I don't know.
slipping
I
on
didn't
that.
recognize any of them people's faces.
And
So
Jackie Young, that played at I believe Princeton. And yeah, we've got a nice squad put together. I don't know who.
When they had
was
these
in-
trials, Brian.
I don't know. That was I don't know who was in charge of doing that, but they
Because
did a
maybe
nice
we could have
job.
got what's her name? OB the Stanford twin, not twin, the sister.
Gumake, yes.
Obumake. Maybe we could have got Obumake on the team.
But
She can get her a basketball goal some kind of way.
yes,
Obumake, if you listening, maybe you need to try for a 3-on-3 team. I feel like they'll take you.
yeah, but I've really enjoyed. It's been worth getting up because they play early in the morning, so it's been worth getting
Well, I
up.
haven't
Checking that
enjoyed
out.
anything, Brian. I don't appreciate capitalism and
Oh, yeah.
go to get the app or go to the Peacock and I was like, what happened to this just being on NBC and y'all? I don't recall ever not being able to, like, if it happened at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, they just put it on, not go to the Peacock app or go to. Come on, man.
Yes, if you want to watch the men's basketball team live, you will need the Peacock app.
And then it's just like, really? And then you showing me some archery and well, I enjoy the swimming, I ain't gonna say that. But the air shooting and all that, I saw some cycling and stuff on the regular NBC channel because I don't really watch TV, but on Sunday I have it on. But I was flipping back, hoping that they put something that I wanted to see on. It never really happened, so I wanted to watch movies. Anywho, I just want I give a shout out. I don't even know the kid. 18-year-old karate, first gold medalist for women, USA. I think she's from Florida somewhere. I couldn't tell if
Yeah,
she was 18 and going to college or 18 and then a senior. And Lord
yeah.
knows, Anastasia
Anastasia,
Zolotic, I don't
Zalati,
know.
yeah, won the gold in Taekwondo.
Said,
Lee
watch
Kiefer,
out.
Lee Kiefer won our first gold in fencing. Um, let's see, Amber English and Vincent Hancock just this morning won gold in shooting for men and women.
Well, I say, and when you say first, I mean, this kid is the first ever. Like, we hadn't had a women's karate. That's the way they
Right, right.
said it.
Yeah,
Not
first
first
ever.
one of
Both
this
of them.
Olympics.
Lee
Okay,
Kiefer,
yeah,
and
okay.
Anastasia. So
Yeah,
those
just
were
want to make sure the people understood. Not we
right.
weren't
That's the
saying like
very
our
first
first
ever for
as the USA's first, but
uh
like
in
ever.
in swimming. Um, Katie Ledecky started off her run of events last night, winning the silver in the 400-meter free. She was outlasted by Ariane Titmus from Australia right at the last second, and they are actually in the next 2 or 3 events together. So it's going to be a night. They've been battling for the last couple of years, according to the announcers on the World Championship circuit. So it's going to be nice to see them in the next couple of events going on later on this week.
We won the
Uh,
4x100.
yeah, the men
Men.
4x100 free relay. Emma Wyatt won the silver in the 400 intermediate melody. Um, let's see, it said that by Amber English.
Yeah,
Softball
that did you
team.
see how that guy almost jumped too fast? In the
Yes.
I was
Almost.
like, I don't think he touched the wall. He just barely touched the wall.
Our softball team, first time softball's been in the Olympics in a few games. They have advanced to the gold medal game.
All right, come on, softball.
Um,
Good job.
Women's national soccer team lost its opener to Sweden, which has been kind of a thorn in their side the last couple of events. But they got back on track the other day, dominating New Zealand. I think the
No,
score
I
was
saw
like
them
six
losing.
6-1, and they had like 4 goals that were called back, so it could have been even worse.
That
For
was
me.
one of the things NBC television had on.
Yes.
When I turned it on, I said,
But,
Lord, we out here losing.
And the only other thing I think I had notes on, the women's gymnastic team, they are right now in a big battle with Russia, leading into this week's finals and everything.
Well, who else would it be?
It wouldn't be nobody else. But Simone, bless her heart, Simone has gotten to that status where even when she is just quote unquote and I put air quotes for everyone listening, good, and not not to that elite level that we've come to expect, from how she's done in the past, because she had just a few missteps yesterday. We get all been out of shape. I mean, she still qualified for every event, for finals of every event.
And that's all you need to do is be
Yes.
there at the end.
And we have not seen that little move that she has invented, because no one's ever done it before. They've
Well,
literally given
she
it to
didn't
her.
invent it, Brian. Stop. A male had done it before her. She the only woman to do it.
Yes.
Oh Lord, that's hilarious.
So
Yeah, she probably pull out all the stops. She on cruise control, and now she where she want to be. She'll tighten up.
yeah, this is going to be interesting as they get into the finals this week. See how that goes. That's always one of my favorite events. That and swimming. Swimming is so much. It's a little different without the fans, because I think the fans give that an extra.
Can you really hear somebody when you swimming in the water? No.
No, not for them, but for me, a
Oh.
viewer.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I don't think they can hear them.
No, they. Let's go. Let's move on to our next topic.
I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
Women's polo, we good. Water polo,
Yes, we won again.
we good. And I was like, I don't know how y'all keep y'all legs moving and all that stuff to stay afloat all that long time. I just want to salute them, because
They
that's
have to be
crazy.
in some kind of shape.
Yeah, that's some craziness. Okay,
because
I
it ain't
saw
like
them.
they just floating there. I mean, they up.
Yeah, they
and
moving
actually doing
around.
things.
And the goal is she beast mode. She don't be letting, she be blocking shots. Not, I guess they are called shots. She covers so much, and when she spring up out of that water, I'm like, how? I guess she do some kind of frog kick or something. But I was like, how are you springing up out of that water? It's amazing. Go women's polo. I don't know if the men are good or not, but
Hey, I hadn't seen anything on the men, and while I'm thinking about that, I'm glad you brought up polo, because it made me think about volleyball. Men's and women's volleyball team are doing well, and the beach volleyball are doing well as for
let
the
me tell
US as
you.
well.
No, and I enjoy watching women volleyball,
Mm.
but I enjoy watching men more. Just because their heads be all like they be really. I was like, man, they can jump. Then I just be wondering how tall they are, because I know most of the women are fairly tall.
Did you see the young lady on the volleyball team? How high she got up on it?
Which one?
I can't think of her name. Saved my life.
They got a couple of good spikers.
Yeah.
Shoot, I've seen they had a couple. I was like, oh, she got some hops. And
She got up.
But and I guess I like seeing the men is because on the West Coast they probably have men's in college.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing
but
that.
we don't get
around.
to see it a lot.
Which is what makes that so cool.
Enjoy watching it.
Definitely. Name
And
like
this is my last thing, Brian. So
okay.
you can go on. When you on Google, just sometimes play the little game if you click the Google icon, it's a game.
Mm.
Have you clicked it? It's a game.
Yes, I played it before.
Because I was like, what is that? And then I was like, oh, it's a game. And I was awful at it. Did you do well? I was bad.
I can't remember.
I played ping pong, table tennis, whatever they call it. They don't call it ping pong, they call it table tennis. Yeah, I was awful. I got beat. And then I was like, okay, I'll have to come back because I ain't ready. I don't like losing like this. It wasn't even no close. Anyway, if y'all don't want Google and you at work and just have a few seconds.
Is it table tennis where they had the little 12-year-old competing?
Yeah, the babies with the paddle and the
Yeah.
little ball.
Wow,
Don't
12.
we call it ping pong or something? But
We
I
do.
think it's called table tennis.
It is, but
You know how we do, run around and naming stuff because I don't even know why we call that ping pong.
Mama call it ping pong, so I'm gonna call it ping pong.
Yeah. I don't even know why we call it ping pong. It probably is offensive to some country, to Chinese, Japanese, or somebody. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear about it. Uh, yes.
Yes, table tennis. We're gonna try to do right. All right, go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry.
Okay, so name, image, likeness. Oh goodness, taking over.
Oh, the NIL thing. Because I
NIL.
couldn't hear
Yes.
exactly what you said. Yeah. Well, I mean, we got high schoolers out here getting $1 million contracts. It's a lot, Brian.
The quarterback that's going to be the starter for Alabama has not thrown a regular season pass yet, and he's already got over $1 million in endorsements.
Let me tell you, me and Larry, shout out Larry. You know who would have been a billionaire if they had been able to do this when they were in school?
Who?
You ain't guess. It ain't but one name.
Johnny.
Timothy Tebow. Do you know how many NIL things he would have gotten?
Oh, Tim Tebow would have been.
He would have
massive.
been maybe not a billionaire, but he would have been 100 millionaire. I mean, them things would have been coming from everywhere. Because not only in the church, like in the church, I hate to call it a circuit, but in the non-secular, in the secular world, now I don't know how many he would have taken depending on what they was asking him to do. He would have had so many offers.
Yeah, because he's a good-looking guy, speaks well. I mean, he looks nice in a suit, whatever.
But he was so popular. Like I mean, you was hard pressed to find somebody that know him.
And everybody would have been wanting him to promote their stuff.
Because if you even and we're gonna get to Shatter, but you remember the lady that worked on what's the mob show when they talked about the decision, and she said I didn't know who LeBron was.
Oh, Lorraine Bracco.
So
Bracco.
I bet you Lorraine probably knew Chelsea. Maybe not. But
I don't know. She don't seem like she knew very much about sports. So.
I mean, but he one of them names you don't even really have to know.
I know what you're saying.
And now Shaq, because every time you look up, he on a pizza, insurance. I think I saw him on something. I was like, why do he keep getting Kellogg's got a cereal something with him? Anyway, go ahead. NIL, we back. It's a lot of money to be made. And
it's coming. It's out there. I am just. Let me just say the thing I'm most thankful for is the fact that we're gonna get our video games back.
Yeah, to be selfish, but I don't have one. I don't have one, so I
didn't bring that up. I didn't bring that up to make you sad. I
feel sad because when they come out with EA NCAA 2023, it's gonna be a little while, but I'm gonna give them 2 years. 2023.
Maybe we can get you a poster to hang on your wall.
I don't want no stinking poster.
Oh, but no, there's a ton of money out there, and I know this is you and I had talked about this way back when we were together at one point in our lives at the same place and time. We talked about getting with that local university and maybe trying to come up with a way of teaching these student athletes how to handle money and things like that.
Right.
I think that is very necessary at this point now that you have the NIL out there where they're making this money, because these kids need to understand that what they make, they will be taxed on. They are over 18.
Number one, Uncle Sam needs whoever Don't think you got $1 million. You really got more like 750 maybe. Uncle Sam gonna take 25, 30% of that.
Mhm.
Now, if you making under 10,000, you could probably just file a zero, what you call it, on your taxes, where you just keep all your money because you
Right.
dependent or whatever.
Right.
But these people are making way more than that. Number two, you need to understand the pirates will be out here looking for ways to take your money.
Oh,
And
they
so
coming,
you need to be careful.
especially the way some of these student athletes will be out there. Are they even called student athletes anymore?
Well, so
Is that
Brian,
the
I'm
NBA?
glad you brought that up. Let me explain why I learned why they call them student athletes. Because the NCAA early on, a long time before both of us got into this world, um, they were concerned about paying insurance for athletes. So they made the name student athlete so that it could move them out from under them having it's something to that effect. It's a reason they start using student athlete. It ain't because they care nothing about them being students. It's around them not wanting to pay if an athlete got hurt and having to cover them insurance wise and all that. That's why, if you go to college as an athlete, um, they ask for your parents' insurance. Now they'll cover it or cover whatever the difference,
Hmm.
but they do ask for your parents' insurance if they got it. They don't want
Now,
to play nothing, and they be making millions of dollars, Brian. That's what I'm saying. These pirates and capitalism. That's ridiculous.
now that now that you say that, I do remember hearing that. It's to why they are called student athletes. But I got a solution
What you got?
for the NCAA and all the money it makes and how to combat that. Uh, over the weekend, it got real good toward the end of last week, but over the weekend it picked up some steam as well. There's sources out there saying that any day now, it's a possibility that Texas and Oklahoma could be coming to the SEC.
Like yesterday, they've been talking about this.
I believe that if something like that happens, that is going to push us ever so much. Because I think it's coming anyway, but ever so much faster to a point where we have about 3 or 4 mega conferences, and the conferences disband from the NCAA and start
Brian, you
legislating
already
themselves.
know I said the SEC should have disbanded.
I think that is coming, and I don't know if they can stop it.
And if Texas and Oklahoma join, they got enough power to do it.
Yes,
You
indeed.
you be like, what? Oh, we can make our own tournament with the winner of the conference is the national champion. Or if y'all want to bring somebody from the rest of the conferences, but our champion against your champion, then that's who win it all.
The money that could be involved if that would have happened, it's just crazy to even think about.
It's gonna be like was it Texas Southern when that was the Wild Wild West down there?
Oh, SMU.
Yes. SMU. That's where we headed, Brian. Cause
Right.
people gonna be like, no, come to Texas. We got all the billionaires, oil tycoons, and you're gonna get great NIL agreements here. Now come to Gainesville, you can get great NIL agreements here.
Yeah, and
Alabama, I'm sure some rich people down there, but they ain't got. And maybe they do. I don't know what they doing in Alabama, but I don't know about that Texas. That Texas got the crazy paper down there.
well, and not only that, um, the Texas's, the Floridas, all of those with no state income tax.
Yep.
It's something else that
That's a beautiful thing too. I'm glad you said that. Some schools may come to your state just because, okay, I already got to pay taxes. I don't want to have to pay state income tax. So, amen to that.
that's something else that these kids need to be need to be taught and understood. Going into their decisions that they're making.
Because that's another chunk of your money. Basically, all of these kids need to have an attorney and a financial person to do their taxes. Because it's getting hard for me to do my taxes, and I ain't making nowhere near no $1 million. But I'm just like, why y'all keep moving? Every time you think you don't figure it out, you get a new tax way to calculate stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
every time you reach that goal line, they move it back 10 more
Like, why
yards.
y'all keep adding stuff? And that's right there now. And this is just leave it the same. What? I'm not gonna get on that. But yeah, so they need an attorney and somebody that they do their taxes, and there's no reason for a student not to leave with some kind of money in their bank.
Okay, so I had this written down. I didn't preface. I didn't give this to you in the pre-meeting
Mhm.
because I wanted to do it to you live. Say it's 2021, 2022 season coming up. You're fixing to play. Uh, you fixing to go play basketball for UT Chattanooga.
Uh-huh.
That's just UTC. No, actually, UC Davis. That's
Oh,
your
that's
that's
my
your
that's my
that's
school.
your that's your
I saw UC
yeah,
Davis tagging a lot
right.
the other day, and I was like, Lord, that's hilarious. That's my
What
video game school.
and in my hypothetical, you can pick anything any fast food restaurant, any whatever. What would be your top 5 uh places that you would like to uh be a brand ambassador for?
But that's gonna be in like my stadium or something. I'm
No,
not
it,
gonna.
it, it like somebody that's gonna have you be a commercial for their product, or it could be a simple product. It could be a restaurant. It could be whatever. What's your top 5?
So it's a eatery.
It doesn't have to be. It can be a
Oh, it can be anything.
supermarket. It could be whatever you want. I set it up that way, and I apologize. But yes, it could be whatever. Top 5 in any places that you would like to promote if you were given the opportunity.
It's that's so broad. I mean, it's so many things. Like you gonna have Nike or Jordan shoes or whoever
Hmm.
shoes, and you can't even wear different shoes. For one, pause on that. So
Okay.
if I get a Nike contract and we Adidas school, what the
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have that answer. I don't know.
because I know that the school be wanting you to wear whatever shoes, but if I'm going to class, can I wear
Maybe
whatever?
maybe that's something else that kids need to, because like you said, the kid in high school had already gotten so many offers. Maybe that's something that makes it even. They already had that illegally, where Nike and Adidas knows were pushing kids places. Now that is quote unquote legal, we see that really happening. You see that happening where Nike schools are getting all these kids that they've been playing on Nike AAU circuit. I don't know.
Okay, well, yeah, I was that's curious because if I can, I would want to wear a shoe, get a shoe deal, but I don't know if I can get a shoe off opposite
Mhm.
of what. Or maybe if it's a Nike school, I can get a Jordan brand. I don't know if that's liable too. They still in the same umbrella, but Jordan brand is different. Um, let's see. I don't even think like Google them doing commercials for nobody. I want to do an Amazon sponsorship because I know they got money. Look, I'm trying to find all the rich people. I want to do Amazon. I want to do for Whole Foods is on the Amazon. Like something for healthy food options. Um I'm gonna do something for some bank because banks got money and they gonna need me to just talk about how I bank with um what was it? The San Diego Credit Union.
Credit Union, yes.
The poinsettia.
The poinsettia bowl.
Credit Union. People that watch us might know that that's funny because of all them bowl games. Anyway,
Well, that's
how many I
always
got left? 2.
yes.
Okay, and I'm want to do I just cause I guess it's near and dear to my heart. Maybe a Gatorade commercial.
Yes.
um,
I want to be like T.
But you know, if they drink Powerade, they be tripping too. You remember we had to cover up them Powerade things for or was it
I
Gatorade?
don't
One
know.
of them.
It
Somebody
was
drank Powerade and they was like they
well,
couldn't have that Gatorade behind their bench. Gatorade thing.
yeah. We had that contract with Gatorade, so when they had that Powerade thing, we had to cover it. Had to put a tape
Yeah.
on it.
So who knows about that? And let's see, one more thing. Maybe some kind of car dealership or something.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. Definitely like something that you'd never ever be able to drive.
Right. Whether they lease it to me or
Just because
if
you
I
ain't paying
run a
for it.
4-year deal with them, where after my 4 years I can have one.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting. I had to ask because I wanted to
Well,
know
what
what
was
you.
yours? Because you must have thought about it.
Oh no, I have no intentions of having.
Oh,
And I know, and people are gonna wonder why T didn't say any like fast food restaurant thing. And if you haven't listened to the show, you don't know this, but T don't eat out. T's not a
yeah, I
yeah.
try. I mean, I have to be in dire straits. I
Mm.
make plans when I go on trips because I just try. I don't. Although I do want to try the Slutty Vegan. It's a place in Atlanta. It's a vegan restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, it's called the Slutty Vegan, but
I just tried this past weekend for the first time a place called the Salad Station,
hmm.
and it was very good. Um, for
So you
anyone,
what?
because
Would you just make
I'm
a
not a
salad?
I'm not a salad person. So I mean my
But
I
you know
mean
they
I,
call macaroni salad. So I guess you can make salad without lettuce, right?
they had all kind of different things you could put on this salad, and they even had a little hot bar where I think they had a chili, I had a chicken and dumplings.
So that mean they had some nachos and something somewhere, so you put that on there with the cheese and the
Yeah, I was in there
chili.
just doing all kind of stuff with my salad. I said, "Boy, this salad starting to look good here."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't eat out. It's humans are dirty, so it's a struggle for me.
So, our next topic.
Brian, I hope we don't get kicked out of the garden. We'll
We
get
may not ever be let back
blacklist.
in. Uh, for the fun we finna poke at this foolishness, but the Athletic, excuse me, they did a podcast series entitled "Shattered: Hope, Heartbreak, and the New York Knicks."
And if you
Um,
go to watch it, make sure you put Shattered and it's gonna say Knicks out there because if it don't, it's another Shattered podcast out there. Because when I put
right.
it
Make
in
sure
there,
you are looking at the one that
make
is
sure you
for
got the
the
Knicks on it.
New York Knicks, and it basically details the James Dolan years um, since he has owned the Knicks. I mean, we start off in the '90s, don't we? The
Yep,
collapse of
we
the
start
'90s,
off with the Patrick Ewing era,
the
and how
otherwise known as if Michael hadn't have played era.
yeah they would have had a chance, but I mean the 2 years that they didn't beat Houston either, so
No, and so
so they kind of dropped the ball. They had a little window of opportunity.
yeah, so you go from that era
You
to
go, they first they talk about the Knicks and all the talent and they had good teams. They never got over the hump, but they had good teams. You had Starks, Patrick Ewing, dude with the go to Larry Johnson, um,
Yeah.
Oak and
Oh,
all them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember those teams because obviously I'm like a Jordan fan, so I remember all the battles that they had. You know, with Xavier McDaniel, Anthony Mason, Oakley, Stark,
Van Gundy and all of that.
hmm all
So
of that.
yeah. So because I didn't know how Patrick wound up leaving. But then they talk about that a little bit. Some of his old head ego, man, bro, you can't be the man forever. You had gotten older. Spreewell and them come in. Hey,
The
enjoy the
part,
ride.
the part about those '90s Knicks that I really and kind of happened early on in the '90s, maybe like in the late '80s. Honestly, excuse me. Did not realize that Patrick had that contract where he had to be in the top 5 or top. I
Getting
think it was like
paid.
getting paid the top 5 contracts,
I
or
didn't
he
know
would
that either.
immediately become a free agent.
And the dirtiness that go behind the scene.
Well,
When I'm glad you brought that up.
David Falk was his agent, which is also Michael Jordan's agent and many other players' agent. Happened to be Chris Muggins' agent as well.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Mullin
Tell
at
it.
the time was with Golden State,
Mm-hmm. Tell it.
and that his contract was coming up, and they wanted to. David Falk went with Golden State and said, "Listen, if you put Chris Mullin at a certain amount, that's
Mm-hmm.
going to put Patrick Ewing below where he needs to be, and immediately become a free agent. We'll get Patrick to Golden State."
Mm-hmm. With Ron TMC. Go ahead. Preach.
Could
Preach.
you imagine if Patrick Ewing was on the same team with Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin?
They would have had a better chance at winning it.
I don't know that they'd have beat the Lakers, but
Look, they'd
that
had
was
a better chance. That's what I gave him, Brian.
I know, I know, I did that for you. But yes, that was definitely something crazy to hear because I had no idea about that. I had
And
forgotten
go
how
ahead.
good that next group after those '90s Knicks with the Allen Houstons and Latrell Sprewells. I've forgotten how decent that group was.
Well, look at him. I just want to say one thing. David Falk, and I know race always come up in our show, but I'm just bringing it up because people act like, oh, LeBron. What's LeBron's friend name that's an agent?
As soon as you started talking about it, and I knew you were fixing to bring it up, it left me.
Well, but they
I
act
know
like he manipulated and got AD to leave. Oh, he got Falk been doing that. Falk
Rich
been doing
Paul, Rich
yeah.
Paul. You know,
But what? Why does it matter that LeBron because he friends with a player? Is that
well,
no? Or is it
we're gonna get to why part of it matters because there's a mindset that comes on later on in this very podcast because someone called that group of friends a certain uh
right? But he didn't have
term.
a he don't have a bully pulpit. I'll say as the media because really the media really be pushing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I just
But
think that narrative gets played around, and they don't really see Rich Paul as a true agent.
oh, because he don't have a law degree, or oh, because this,
Yeah,
that, and the
yeah,
other. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay. So then we get to the Dolan family. Lord James Dolan is
mess.
is 45 like mini me.
Yes.
Like that is what that is. Every time they were saying stuff he would do, I was like, that's 45. That's
Yeah.
45-ish. What?
Yes.
So Dolan, his father, um, Charles,
Charles. Yes.
he was a risk taker and he was doing stuff with the cable stuff in New York. This was before cable was big. Most people out here apparently using antennas still.
Hmm.
And he nobody believe, cable. What ain't nobody want no cable and so he made was it a billion on that first sale? Some crazy number of money.
It was an extreme number. I do.
16 billion
Yeah.
something crazy. And then he was like, "Well, I'm gonna run cables in Brooklyn somewhere," and they was like, "Nobody gonna no Coney Island or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna pay for no cable and all this." And now you see what cable is.
All
He
right.
made another. What was it? What was the name of it? Do you remember the name of the? Because it was a cable company I don't think I had heard of. I
Was
was
it
like, what?
Viacom?
No. Anywho, y'all can listen
Yeah.
to it and find out.
Right.
So then he made another several $billions. Say I'm gonna buy my son something. Now I don't know if James is the only kid or what, but this is when I didn't know the Knicks that the Knicks
Cable Vision. I'm sorry.
cable vision.
Yes.
I didn't know that the Knicks own Madison Square Garden. Like I didn't know that was a thing. A lot of times the city own them or whatever or pay for it. He bought him the Knicks and Madison Square Garden. So maybe
Yeah.
they didn't go together, but he made them go together.
Yeah, he put them together.
And he say, "Well, I'm gonna let you run it at this level," and then obviously at some point he just became the head dude in charge. Brian, when they say you can't come in there, you say something about the place, they following the journalists around in the locker room. They don't ban journalists from coming because they said, "Sell, why don't you sell the team?" I, he lazy and don't want to. And this came up in the later podcast. But he lazy and don't want to remember passwords, so they out here doing all kinds of special tricks so he can log into the system. I was like, Lord have mercy. Now come on, bro. You can remember a
Yeah,
password.
and going on to a little bit further after we get after his family, the Jim Dolan and Isaiah years.
Oh my goodness, that was
I
a mess.
had and this is where media comes into play as well. I'm telling you, when all that stuff broke out, I was under the impression that it was majority Isaiah's fault, and they almost portrayed him as if he had just gone out and
He was
raped
out
some
here
child.
wilding out.
Yeah, I mean,
James Dolan was pulling all the strings.
right.
And I didn't like episode 3. That's Jim and Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
One, I don't even know how they became. They may have mentioned it, and I didn't hear how him and Isaiah became friends. Because now, like
Because
that,
he basically because he had a fondness for Isaiah and the way Isaiah kind of
and
portrayed him
Isaiah
for
would
a
kiss
great
up to him and tell
that
him how
too
great he was.
that
Because he
yes
that guy, y'all. He that guy that needs to be loved, and you
you got
got
to
to
kiss the
to make
ring.
sure, right? He know that you love him,
Mm-hmm.
and because if you disagree with him, you gonna be out. You gotta now after listening to this, I see what happened to Spike Lee.
Mm.
And the one man said he said something about James, and he had a season tickets. He calls to get his re up his season tickets. They the lady's like, we don't see your name in the system.
That
Now, I'll say this. That seems to be illegal because at any point, if you need to be audited, I don't care if you're private, you might need to be audited. And if you don't erase the whole person out, that means they money and everything went with it. I don't know how you rectify that, but hey, when you billionaires, you play by different rules.
right.
But he said then he called again, and they just started hanging up the phone and not even answering. I was like, Lord, you mean she hung up the phone because he had a woman that was his person
Right.
that managed his account. Then he called back, and he wound up couldn't get her. He called just the regular ticket office, and they was like, "We don't see you in the system." And I was just like, all because he wrote something that Dolan didn't like, and you can't say anything that Dolan don't like,
Mm-hmm.
um, or he will get you blacklisted. And then they told the whole. Maybe they didn't tell it early on. Maybe that's the whole thing with Charles Oakley. But I was just like, you got to be kidding me. They never did say why him and Charles Oakley didn't like each other. I don't know if they had some kind of incident. But me and Brian might not be welcome
See,
in
this
the
podcast, mind you, we've already stated it's about the New York Knicks and James Dolan era and all that. They had an entire episode devoted to a player who never ever played for the Knicks.
decision.
The decision in LeBron James.
Never played. I was like, how you get a that's when you know you a star. When they talking about the Knicks and you get a whole episode about all that they did and plan to do to try to get LeBron James that summer of 2010.
And I really truly believe they thought they had him.
Yeah, just like they thought they had Durant and
Oh
Kyrie.
gosh, yes. I mean,
So yeah, that whole thing happened.
they take you through Carmelo and
Melodrama and Linsanity.
yes, and Jeremy Lin in that era. Then you also obviously you get to the Phil Jackson of it all, which that was a debacle from day one. Chris Stapps in the pick.
Kristaps Porzingis.
I mean, and his pick, in theory, they hated because no one knew who he was. But that wound up was gonna be a good pick until that got all fell apart.
Derailed. And part of it they think may have been the way that he saw him treat Oakley. Cause that happened in the game right across from the bench. I didn't realize it, but even Doc Rivers spoke, I didn't know Doc Rivers played with Oakley, but anyway,
Yeah, he
Doc
was on those teams. I forgot about that.
Doc Rivers spoke about it in his press conference. And it's just like they took him to jail. Even Phil Jackson went down there and tried to, and they was like, no, he going to jail. And I'm like,
I remember when
you
that
tripping.
happened because I remember the reports came out that somebody had actually called Michael Jordan, who is way off in Charlotte right at that point, and to try and get Charles Oakley to calm down and this, that, and the other. I was like, you know,
Everybody around the event that they interviewed was like, everything was copacetic. It seemed normal. But the man said, but you knew that people in the New York area know Dolan and his
right,
personality. And apparently people know more than they want to say about, or people don't know why Dolan and Oakley don't get along. And he was saying when he sat behind him in them in the in the stadium, you could sense, he was like, you could sense something wasn't gonna go right.
right.
And then all of a sudden, what he said, too many police show up and escort Oakley out. Now Oakley ain't wanting to back down from a fight.
No,
Especially when you don't think you did anything wrong. And then it just chaos ensued.
which is inherently a human trait, but with Oakley, it's times 1,000. So
Yeah, he's 6'9", what,
yeah,
250, probably more
yeah,
than that now. That ain't going well. And he's saying he ain't did nothing, which again, the people sitting around was like, we didn't see nothing out of it's just a athlete watching the team, form a team. And then all of a sudden, they like, oh, get him out of here. Now Dolan want to do face recognition so he'll know. I was like, we going way too far.
I remember when I heard that episode with Oakley and him being tossed out. I went and looked it up, and I didn't realize how many different people were videoing. And it's on YouTube, like 6 or 7 different angles of what happened to Charles Oakley. I was like, that is crazy.
What's even crazier is that you want to get facial recognition software so that you can know when he comes to, if somebody make him a guest. Really?
Right.
Really?
But people, it is definitely worth the
It's worth
listen.
listening. It's worth a listen.
Episodes are anywhere between 45 and somewhere in high 50 minutes. But they don't feel
They
like
worth it. Yeah.
they don't take that literally. Once you get into it, If you're a basketball fan, you won't feel like you
And you
listening.
don't even have to like the Knicks just to get to hear the
Right.
insides of what happens behind the scenes. Now I want somebody to be real and write these books about what be really going down. Like when Latrell Sprewell choked his coach. Like I want to know what some of this stuff be happening.
Yes, I
But
definitely want to hear the inside story on PJ Carlissimo getting choked by Latrell. I mean, they even talked about Larry Brown and Stephon Marbury not getting
oh
along
my
until last
God,
week.
that was the
Yeah.
most petty. Them going back and forth. I'm like, a coach and a player? Is that what we doing? And the man that said that the was it Brown that called him bad word? You remember he kept calling him a bad word, and he
I can't.
asked him not to do it, and then
I can't remember. I think it was though.
and I was like, "Are you serious? Like in any other job, you cannot call somebody out of their name, but then you calling them a derogatory name. I don't
Right.
curse, so I ain't gonna say the word. But I was like, really, bro? But you would look at him from the outside and think he was on up and up, nice, yeah. That's why I need somebody to get up the real. Maybe we need to get Kwame Brown. maybe,
Yeah, because
maybe we need to get Kwame Brown to
he
write
seemed
it
to be
out.
willing to tell it all.
Yeah, I need Kwame to come on with a book and tell us what be really going down. Kwame, you don't play it on enough teams that you can give us a good little perspective on what be happening out here in these streets. Cause it look like it's messy back there, Brian. It's behind the curtain. It's messy.
Um,
And I
but
don't know what the Lakers, they got a show coming out. I don't know which Showtime, HBO, or something, but they doing a
yes,
show.
I'm very excited about this.
So
Very, very excited. Because I actually read the book that it's based off of, so
is that the one I got?
it might be.
No, I got the one with Brian, with him and Magic.
Oh, him and Larry.
I
No,
mean,
no.
Larry. Yeah.
Yeah, no. This one's is about the actual Showtime Lakers. Um, yes. So yeah, looking forward to all that, and definitely please y'all go check out the Athletics Shattered
Yeah.
series on the Knicks,
Shout out to Shatter. And
and
what's his
come
name that did the voiceover stuff? The rapper. I was like, Lord, you taking a chance by doing
Chuck
this? They
D.
might Chuck B, they might kick you out of the stadium.
Yes. Shout out to Chuck D. Do you have anything else you want to say on that
Lord, I
on
can't.
Shatter? All right.
No, it was good. I'm glad you showed it to me.
Before I just release T to the wild because we did not do sayings that make no
We
sense
didn't.
last week.
We didn't. We forgot.
And T has a bunch in the cannon and she would like
And
to
I'm gonna release them slowly, but I hold on. I got to get my list.
go
And
for
I
it.
told you one of them to kick the bucket, Brian. What is this kicking the bucket? Now we all know what it means, but where did that come from?
I'm trying to figure out what rule of thumb. I never understood what that meant.
I'm sure it's some story behind it. But kicking the bucket,
Well,
Brian. This is not a saying. It's a thing that happens that doesn't happen. 21 gun salute. Well, it's only
right.
7 guns at the place. They shoot 3 times. Now I know 7 times 3 is 21, but let's rename this.
What we gonna call it?
7 gun salute. Because that's all is there. It's 7 gun. Or we can call it 21 bullet salute. I
How
don't know.
about the 777?
What we not well, we already doing it, but it's not 21 guns in the building when these things happen, okay? I just want y'all to know. Um, we need to get boots on the ground. Where else would boots be, Brian?
That's a good question. Lord.
I know, right? Where else do we have these boots? Please, somebody tell me, cause I don't know where else your boots are. Get these boots on the ground. Um, do fat rats really get over?
Do fat rats what?
really get over? You getting over like a fat rat. Exactly. See, when I rephrase it, it makes no sense. What you getting over like a fat rat? Do they really get over? Come on, bro. These are things that I'm just curious. And Brian, who out here trying to eat elephants?
Eat elephant.
You know, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. People talk about that all the time. Like, but who out here really trying to eat an elephant?
Oh yeah, nobody.
See, when the rephrasing make you say eat elephants because it makes no sense.
Yes.
Now, if we understand why, but come on, who was like, yeah, it's like trying to eat an elephant. Well, who was this person that was trying this and was like, man, this is like trying to eat an elephant? This is one that I use, and I don't know where it came from, and it's terrible. But long as I owe you, you'll never be broke. I don't understand.
That has to be the New York Mets thing to Bobby Bonilla, because that man been retired for 20 something years and he's still getting paid by them with that contract they gave him. Man, he still get his he got his last paycheck. In fact, the reason that I jokingly bring this up is because it just came the anniversary where he got another check for $1 million whatever.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, so it's
well, the Lakers been paying what's his name, Dwell Ding since 2000 or something crazy. This is last season on our books. Oh Lord. So those
crazy.
are some things, eating out elephants and these fat rats getting over all this kind of stuff. I'm not really sure. I know, yeah.
A question for you.
Go okay.
How do you reminisce with someone you don't know?
I don't know.
The saying is, I like to reminisce with people I don't know.
I ain't never heard nobody say that, but I don't know. That makes no sense either. So people, we just be saying stuff just because our grandmama said it, or our mama said it, our daddy said it, and they be catching. and you just be saying it.
And not to just completely turn the mood down, but that's what a lot of times sociologically gets us in trouble. Because we believe things that generations before us are said to be true about,
Yeah, we don't bought into stuff that our ancestors passed on, and we ain't do any investigation. Because I told you the story about the lady that when she made a pot roast or something like that, and she always cut it in half, and she did whatever, dressed it up, and so when she was making it with her daughter, she was like, the daughter's like, "Mom, why you cut it in half?" And she was like, "I don't know. Let me call your grandmama." So grandmama was like, "Oh, we cut it in half because we didn't have a pot big enough for it to fit in." But they still was doing it just because that was the recipe and that was the way it was done. But it wasn't needed anymore because pots are bigger now. Like that's a true story. She was literally, I don't know if it was a pot roast, but it was some meat that she was cutting in half. And it was the only reason the grandmama did it, or the great grandmama, or whoever passed it on to her, because they didn't have a pot that was big enough. But you keep doing the same thing to the generation to generation, and you got a big enough pot.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Brian, next time you at a construction site, see if I'm looking at a construction site. It's a American flag, a Christmas tree, and I don't know what that other flag is. I don't know what's going on right now.
Too much. It sounds like.
Like what?
It's Christmas in July.
Maybe, yeah, July. Brian, we almost into August. Football season coming.
It came with a vengeance.
Football season coming, y'all. And we talking about college football more than anything.
Yeah. So
You think well, we can talk about this another time, but you think the Rebels gonna I don't know what my Gators gonna be. I don't know what we'll be. I'm hoping for the best. We got Alabama early, game 3.
yeah, y'all play them right before we
And I
do.
can say then the Rebels got them game 4.
Yep. Which is wonderful because usually we get them after they play South Dakota, not South Dakota State, but the Sisters of the Poor.
Right, and they drill
they be
somebody.
all rested, and they come in because we go to Tuscaloosa this year.
Well, I ain't gonna say that the Gators gonna make them no more tired. I don't know what we have, Brian. I know who the quarterback might be or should be, but some people like he may not win it out, but he should. I don't know who wide receivers. We only had like 3 or 4 kids on the All SEC, and they was like 13. They were like low All SEC teams. So.
Yeah, that is one benefit coming into this year. I do, except for Elijah Moore, who is now with the Jets.
Jets.
Yes, the wide receiver that did so well last year for Ole Miss. I do know everyone else that's going. Everybody else has been established. Quarterback Matt Corral, John Rice Plumlee. I hope by the time the season starts and they just keeping it quiet that they've talked him into being a slot receiver or something like that, because I think that could be a perfect place for him, as he showed in the bowl game last year. They got all the running backs back. Got everybody that was behind Elijah Moore in the wide receiver depth chart is back. So if we they were supposed to be focusing on defense.
The fast break offense.
Yeah, the defense is better this year. Hey, who knows?
They gotta be, but they don't get no rest because of the fast break.
This is true. So, hey, we'll see what happens. Yes, can't wait for college football.
That should be fun. It should be fun. Preferably.
Hopefully, we don't have another.
Some of these people can get this vaccine and stop playing. More people.
Please get your vaccine, people.
That's what they should. Now, see, we just hit the nail on the head, Brian. You know how you could get more people vaccinated? At least in the South, where a lot of people aren't.
What time is it?
Correlated with football, college football, some kind of way.
What time is it?
Ooh, I know some folks in Tennessee that have a lot of trouble deciding whether or not they want their vaccine or not.
Everywhere. Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia, all of them. It'll be like, well, wait a minute, I gotta see if my Bulldogs or my Rebels rolling with the tide now.
What time is it?
You mean if I ain't vaccinated, I can't get in the stadium? Nope.
What time is it?
Watch how that shoot up. Watch how that number shoot up, Brian.
Yeah.
But then you in states with a specific leaders in their government, so they ain't gonna ever do that because they don't care if they people die, as long as they can push their propaganda. Anyway,
long as they make that paper. Anyway.
Propaganda.
Well, as always, as we didn't look, we were high. We went high on sayings that make no sense. Had a good laugh, and then we took it low. And that's where we taper off, because as always, I'm one of your hosts, Brian Mackay, and I am with
T. Do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God, Davis.
And this has been the Mac and T Show podcast. Thank you for listening.
What time is it?
This is the Mac and T Show. This is the Mac and T Show. We talk movies and TV shows, sports and world news, coasting like on a world cruise. Hosted by Brian Mackay and T Davis. Yeah. You can't tame us. We're going to the top, we're becoming famous.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mac and T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mac and T Show.